I am ready to record. I am recording. Okay. I think I'm gonna pause the dryer. Time to begin. Hello, beautiful people. My name is Georgia Bridgers, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hello, beautiful people. I hope you're all doing well today as we inch closer to the holidays.
Actually, in Georgia, the holidays are a kind of difficult time of the year for those of us in the closet. I don't think it's all that wonderful, you know? Like,
yes, as we all know, the holidays can be the most wonderful time of the year for some, but also some of the most hard times. Tori, can you stop that? My girlfriend is revealing herself behind the camera. Stop that, I will pause this. Yes, as we know, the most wonderful time of year can also be the most stressful and scary for a lot of people, especially those of us in the LGBTQ community that are either still in the closet, scared to come out to their family, not accepted by their family and have to deal with homophobic things, etc, etc, etc. Which is why I've decided to make this video to try and help you all combat those scary situations that can come up around the holidays. Oh, forgot to, talk about my own credentials. I'm Georgia Bridgers. I am bisexual. I am your resident, unverified therapist for the gays here on youtube.com. I'm an advice gal. What can I say? It's in my blood. But you know what? Before we get too deep into the emotional trauma of the holidays, let's get into the fun part of the holidays, gift giving. Which is why I want to give a huge thank you to this video's sponsor, Daniel Wellington. Daniel Wellington is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful jewelry company that I absolutely adore. One of the wonderful things about giving gifts during the holidays is that it's a way to show and share your love in a physical form to your loved ones. You can't go wrong with giving the gift of Daniel Wellington. I absolutely adore all my Daniel Wellington pieces. I've worked with them in the past, so I've got a great array. They have wonderful different pieces ranging from more simple to exquisite fine pieces. It's all wonderful, wonderful, wonderful craftsmanship and quality every single time. And while this gorgeous watch will be my own personal holiday gift this year, you guys can totally take advantage of the DW holiday sale going on right now. You can get 25% off when you purchase 2 or more items, plus you can use my own personal code, Georgia, for 15% off on top of that 25% off. Sounds like a deal to me. You won't regret giving the gift of Daniel Wellington this year, whether it be for yourself or for a loved one. Go ahead and check that link down in my description below and get your pieces from Daniel Wellington today.
Now, back to why we're here.
All jokes aside, I ask you beautiful people to send me your questions, concerns, comments, etc. on my Instagram in an anonymous question box, just to talk about some things that you're worried about this holiday season that you'd like me to go over. So without further ado, here is how to deal with your homophobic family during the holidays. I don't know if that's what I'll title the video. I'll figure it out. In the closet during the holidays. Holidays in the closet. That's kind of good. I'll think of something clever. I always do. This is one of the questions that I saw most continuously going throughout all the questions, and that is best response for when family members ask if you have a boyfriend. This is definitely geared towards women identifying people who are not straight. Perhaps if it were for a man, it'd be, oh, do you have a girlfriend yet? This is a great question. I definitely got this going throughout the ages, and certainly I am bisexual, but it was especially hard around the holidays because as I inched closer and closer to wanting to come out of the closet, I just deeply wanted to be in a relationship with a girl. You know, you feel that awkward cringe in your body when a relative asks who your significant other is, and perhaps that significant other isn't the exact image they had in their eyes. But to combat this, you can go down the super easy route of not having to gender your preferences. You could say something along the lines of, oh, not yet, just waiting for the right person. Or you can totally flip it and be like, I'm not looking for a relationship right now. I am content with myself. Yeah, or you can flip it on them and be like, do you have a boyfriend? You know, just kind of bite him in the ass. That always, you know, it'll get a chuckle and it'll move the conversation along if that's something that you kind of want to step away from. Next question. This one's hard. My mom is supportive of other people being gay, but not me, her daughter. I don't know what to do. First of all, I am so unbelievably deeply sorry. Time and time again, we hear this age-old tale of someone supporting the LGBTQ community unless it has to do with someone in their own family. I think what this really shows is something deep-rooted in your mom, where she is, in my past is what I've come to understand, she's not so much worried about gay being wrong, but she's worried about how other people will either look at herself or look at you, her daughter. Maybe in a way she doesn't want you to have to deal with the trauma of being out, which sometimes can be a very traumatic thing, but mostly it is a lovely, wonderful, happy thing, as I'm sure many of you will come to find out one day. Or she's worried about what other people will think of her. I think this also has to do with a lot of internalized homophobia that your family is dealing with. That totally could be a factor of where you're living. I know, at least where I live in Cincinnati, there are specific suburbs that are like extremely Christian, wrongfully so, because love thy neighbor, okay, or extremely conservative, extremely traditional. And that tradition means I'm keeping up with the times, it's 2020 and I support the LGBTQ community, but not my family. So I think this is going to be a conversation where you sit down with your family and try and understand where they're coming from. When I first came out, I had some family members that didn't want me to come out on the internet because they thought that it would inhibit my future careers. Kind of is my career now, so what can I say? Perhaps your family is coming from a space of fear. All of this is really fear. That's what I've come to learn throughout the days. People who don't want their family members to come out or are not accepting of the LGBTQ community have a deep, deep-seated root of fear that takes over their entire being when something out of their ordinary comes about. So help them defeat that fear. My family will say the F and D slur. Some know I'm gay, some don't, but I don't know how to say it's bad. I have definitely dealt with this too. I've had extended family members, not so, vulgar per se in using slurs like that, but saying something along the lines of, oh, that's gay. It's unbelievably hurtful, no matter who it's coming from, especially though, if it's coming from family. Unfortunately, a lot of people sometimes, and this is a bad excuse, but they don't know how hurtful it still is to this day. Perhaps it's people growing up hearing their parents say it, or their parents' saying it and then passing it down generation to generation, not fully grasping how hurtful it can be to another human being. It's like they've dehumanized the word gay. They've taken out the human feelings and just saying them offhand. That's definitely different with the F slur and the D slur. I'm all for reclaiming slurs, but of course that is if you identify as that person. It's disgusting if you're straight and saying things like that. So perhaps you could turn this into, again, a learning situation. I've also learned that coming from a place of kindness and ease kind of helps. So I feel like a lot of people who use these words sometimes tend to have big egos that get hurt very quickly. So coming from a place of, hey, just so you know, I don't like it when you use that kind of wording. It's hurtful to, in some cases, if you're out to that person, to me, or you could say to some of my friends who are in the LGBTQ community. I would really appreciate it if you could not use that language around me, please. Turn it into as a beginning of don't say that around me. Maybe it'll check them, and maybe they will continue to learn that that's not a good thing to say no matter the situation. Now, I have tried this before and just had people kind of scoff and be like, I didn't mean it like that. That's that big ego showing. To which sometimes you need to recognize when you can and cannot change a person for good, for the better of being a good person. Some battles are not worth fighting, and that'll be for you to decide. Boundaries. Is it a good idea to come out during the holidays? I don't want to ruin Christmas. First and foremost, your love and who you love at the end of the day should never, ever, ever ruin any holiday, because you are so deserving of that love, and that love should be celebrated and not ruined. However, I will say that with a grain of salt, because what is most important at the end of the day is your safety and your well-being. We've seen time and time again where people come out and are physically or emotionally abused. I think that'll also have to be a point where you will kind of need to sit down and really go over, will you be met with joy and support, or could you potentially be in a dangerous situation? I always say coming out is a very important thing to do in your life if that is for you in your journey. But if your safety is at risk, do not risk your safety. If my girlfriend isn't out at all and I am, can that make me go back in the closet? I know this is another very difficult thing around the holidays where people will have their significant others and either not be out or have the significant other not be out. You know, I know we all just saw the movie Happiest Season with Kristen Stewart. To answer your question plainly, unfortunately, yes. This can mean that you not necessarily have to go back in the closet completely, but it may bring about some very difficult situations in front of your significant other's family if you have to pretend to be a friend. And I know that can equally hurt both parties of the relationship. So what I would suggest you do, let's not have a happiest season where you just invite your girlfriend over for family Christmas and say you're her orphan roommate. No. No. I would suggest that you sit down with your significant other and you two make a plan, have a plan. I'm not saying that this is a cause for breaking up. When Tori and I started dating, she wasn't out to her family and they didn't really know about me. We're still together nearly 2.5 years later. So just communicate, and you will find the right solution for your relationship. Onward! How do I deal with homophobic grandparents? This is a tough one. I know it's especially hard because some people are just so unbelievably close to their grandparents and love their grandparents, and their grandparents love their grandchildren back. But I think we have to remember that most of our grandparents are from the 30s and 40s and before then. You know, I sometimes think a lot about Glee when things like this come about, when Santana came out to her abuela, whom she loves and adores, and obviously her abuela loves Santana back. But her abuela was so rooted in her Catholic upbringing where it says that homosexuality is a sin. A lot of this is all based on religion. A lot of our grandparents were brought up with a much heavier source of religion, strict source of religion than us. It could go down the route of your grandparents have no choice but to change because they love you so much. But then this also relates to what I was saying earlier, where some battles are not worth fighting for your own mental health and for your boundaries. I know that is so hard to understand and take in. You need to put yourself first. That's what matters most. Yourself and your happiness. And you need to decide if coming out to your homophobic grandparents will completely mess up your mental health or help you grow as a person. And if you're out to your own parents and you're comfortable with them, you can talk with them about it because that's their parents. Whatever decision you make will be the correct one for you in your journey. There are no wrong decisions in your life. You may feel like something is the wrong decision and you may be filled with regret or fear or what, blah, 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 but that's just your ego talking. Just understand that whatever you choose will be the right thing for you, and you will understand that with time. All right, I think we are at the last question. I'm pretty excited for this one. How do you reconcile the religious parts of Christmas when told the way you love is a sin? This is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful question because it is so easy to combat. For those of you who don't know, I consider myself a religious person. I'm a spiritual person. I forgot to go to church today, but even though I grew up in the Catholic school system and therefore the Catholic Church, I didn't have family that was so forcing of religion that I kind of got to experience what I wanted on my own time. So moving to New York City, I found a wonderful, amazing church that accepts LGBTQ people and accepts everything. The movement there is all about love. And that's what religion is at the end of the day. That's what Christmas is. That's what the holidays are. It's love. If you celebrate the holidays in a religious sense, what you need to remember is that the Bible was translated incorrectly. The Bible says homosexuality is a sin. It doesn't. Homosexuality was created in the Bible translation in 1940. It was translated incorrectly. Historians have proved this. The Bible says a man shall not lay with another man, but what it actually says is that a man shall not lay with another boy. It's talking about pedophilia. It's not talking about homosexuality. That was created by fear-mongering people who wanted to spread the word that homosexuality is a sin and that it's wrong, blah, 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 blah. God is love at the end of the day, and God loves you just how you were made, and who you love is what God intended for you. And if you're not a religious person, you see it from the sense of the universe. Recording stopped automatically. God and the universe do not make mistakes. It is BS to say that being homosexual is a test against God's love. Do you know how silly that sounds? Oh my gosh, it sounds so silly. So just recognize that the religion you've been taught is fear, and that's no way to go about living life. Live with love at the forefront, and you will see the beauties in the world. All right, beautiful people, that's all I have for this week. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know the holidays are an extremely hard time of the year for those of us in the closet or not accepted by family members, but I just wanted you to know that this space here is a safe space for you. I love you. I will always, always be here for you. And the people in the comments below will also always be here for you. You are loved no matter what, and your journey is your journey, and it's going about in the right time and the right way as well. Don't feel pressured to come out of the closet because of the holidays. You can get through this. I know you can. I know you can. We've all done it before. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm a wuss, so I know you can do it. I love you, and don't forget to be your best self. And happy holidays if you all celebrate. Okay, I love you. Bye-bye.